stars clinical psychologist Dr. Lee Kannis. Lee, welcome to Good Living. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Did you get woken up last night?
Yeah, I felt a bit of a shake.
Yeah. It was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
How have you been faring with all of these shakes?
I think just like anyone else, you know, just at times feeling a bit more anxious than I probably normally do, and concerned about my children. And yeah,
children have been quite a big consideration during this, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because you know, a lot of them won't have experienced certainly any earthquakes like this before. How are they all coping?
I think just with adults, I think everyone's different. I think some kids are quite resilient and take it in their stride. But I think other children certainly have been, you know, quite distressed by it, and often trying to make sense of what's going on, and, you know, worrying about whether mum and dad are okay and all those kind of things. So it's just really about reassuring them and trying to sort of normalise things as much as we can at the moment.
I guess it's still pretty normal, is it, at this stage? I mean, we're 4 weeks in to still have those feelings of anxiousness when you take into account last night's shake-up again.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think with any sort of trauma, it's quite normal for people to be what's called flight or fight response. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but
so describe that.
That's kind of a really old biological mechanism that we have to protect ourselves against threat. So basically what that means, very simplistically, is that when we sense threat, we get kind of a shot of adrenaline going around our body that keeps us on guard. So
that's when our heart starts pumping. We can feel it in our skin.
Muscles get tight. You know, feel a bit dizzy, lightheaded, get hot. All those kind of things. It's preparing the body to either run as fast as we can or to fight whatever that threat is. So because these aftershocks are ongoing, you know, we're all kind of, well, many of us are still in that state of fight-flight. So if we hear, you know, that rumbling sound, or, you know, even like, you know, might notice a truck going by, you might think, oh, you know, is that another one? But it's kind of pretty normal at the moment for many of us to be feeling that way.
When we start and do feel that adrenaline, how long does that last for in the body? I guess when we realise that we're safe again, it starts dispersing.
It starts to come down, generally doesn't last for too long. I mean, if people are concerned about it, you know, one of the things to do is to burn it off, maybe go for a walk or do some exercise or something like that. Yeah, so
kind of turn that into a positive and
I think just recognising what it is, that, you know, it's okay to feel this way, to feel a bit anxious. It's just that adrenaline, you know, that will settle, that will pass, that should go.
So how long can we kind of expect to be feeling anxious for? I mean, I know everybody's different though, aren't they?
Everyone. I mean, I think some people may be starting to settle now, probably before last night.
Everyone was feeling pretty good.
I mean, I think hopefully as the aftershocks start to fade, for most people the anxiety should also follow suit. I guess, you know, if in a couple months' time, after the aftershocks hopefully have finished, if people are still feeling extremely anxious or distressed about it, then I would encourage them then to go and see their GP. It's really important right now that people don't get into therapy that starts to unpack memories or thoughts about the earthquake, because that can actually be unhelpful at this stage. It's more about letting the mind sort it out itself at this early stage.
So what do you mean by that? Can you explain a bit more?
Well, the brain has its own way of making sense of traumatic events. So if we've been in a car accident or earthquakes or been assaulted or something like that, we all kind of need to do that at our own pace. And often that's, for many of us, just talking about what's happened to us if we want to. For some people it's not talking about it, and it's just letting it kind of dwell on the back of the mind, and the brain kind of in its own way makes sense of that over a month or two. Now, for most people that's enough, and that those memories will become, okay, that's an earthquake, it's happened, I've moved on. Now, if therapists get in there too early and start to get people to relive that or think about that, they can actually re-traumatise patients or clients. So it's really important, if people are seeking therapy, that they are very careful about the type of therapy that they're having at the moment, and making sure they see someone that knows what they're doing. But generally I'd encourage people to hold off for at least a month or two before doing any of that type of work.
So kind of allow your body itself to do naturally what it's designed to do, and then kind of see what happens after that.
See what happens. And as I said, in a month or two, if people are still really distressed or having lots of intrusive memories about the earthquake, then go and see their GP.
Because I guess for, you know, most of us, we've experienced the aftershocks. You know, we've come out of it okay, but there are still a lot of viewers out there that are in a state of disruption, you know, in their home, you know, and all of that kind of displacement, and that's not easy to be coping with on a day-to-day basis, is it?
No, certainly not. And I think, you know, all that adds to the stress of it and the trauma of it, because it's also loss, and you know, where am I going, and how's my future going to be, and all this uncertainty. So I think what's really important for people in those situations, I think just generally for anyone, is to try and get back into a routine as quickly as possible. So, you know, getting back to work or spending time with friends and family. And, you know, if you, as I said earlier, if you want to talk about what's happened, that's fine, but if you don't, that's also okay at the moment. Things like exercise are really important, physical activity, trying to eat well even if your stomach doesn't feel too good.
Yeah.
Trying to keep, you know, those sort of basic things in place is just really, really important right now.
If people are still having trouble sleeping, and a lot of these aftershocks are happening at night and keeping us awake, have you got some good advice on different actions we can take?
I think, again, with sleep, it's just trying to get back into a routine, trying to go to bed at a regular time. For some people, it's using things like relaxation techniques to get to sleep. Those things can be quite helpful right now. If you do wake with an aftershock, you know, just trying to tell yourself, you know, it's okay, I'm okay. Trying to make sure you know where you are, that you're safe, and then trying to get back to sleep. If you're still having ongoing sleep problems, again, it's about going and seeing your doctor and talking that through with them. But, you know, it's appropriate for us to not be sleeping too well at the moment.
That's exactly it, isn't it?
You know, and I don't think there is a quick fix to it right now. I think it's, you know, we've got to kind of wait and see what happens with these aftershocks.
And I guess, again, keep an eye on your close family and friends. Make sure that you can support each other as much as you can.
Whatever it is that they need. I mean, I guess the other thing, just sorry, come back to sleep, is just watching that you're not having too much caffeine or alcohol close to bedtime would also be important. Well, they may seem like they help, but you don't want to have too much.
That's exactly right. You do think at the time that, oh, that's going to be good, but then it's not, because, you know, it's very disruptive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so stop that if you can. Dr. Lee Kannis, thank you very much. Some really good advice there too. And of course, you know, just watch everybody, and just kind of to wrap up again, you know, wait for a couple of months.
Wait and see.
See how things are going. Okay,
definitely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Nice to meet you. And remember, any further details, the Canterbury District Health Board's website is here for you now too, and it's great. So do check it out at cdhb.govt.nz.